You're aware that Jennifer McCabe deleted texts and calls from her phone before she turned it over to you?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware that there were texts and calls missing from her phone before having that phone turned over to you?
I'm not aware of that.
Did you look at the extraction report, the Celebrite extraction report from her phone?
I have, yes.
And you didn't see the columns marked deleted, 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 deleted?
Yeah, not that area, no.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Not that area.
Not that area, meaning?
No.
What does that mean? I don't know what you mean by not that area.
I went through the Celebrite report, but clearly I didn't review that tab.
So as you sit here, you're unaware of whether or not multiple texts and multiple phone calls were deleted from her phone that you have in your possession?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'm not aware right now, sir.
What? How can you not be aware? The phone that you had the search warrant for, how can you not be aware about whether or not they're deleted phone calls? Or shouldn't that be something that you should know? By, you know, for example, comparison to the phone company's records or comparison to Celebrate data. How can you not know? What? Rush to judgment much?
As the case agent, as the case officer, do you believe it might be important to find out whether or not that phone appeared to have been manipulated or altered in some way before it was turned over? Wouldn't that be something that you would normally do?
That'd be important.
So you
Yeah,
can
I
do
would
it
think
with your
so.
case phone. Another issue concerning a potential conflict of interest. You were well aware that Canton PD was supposed to be, we talked about this at some length, conflicted off the case as of January 29th, 2022, right?
Correct.
And you even put it in that text message, NOCAT, it's total opposite. They have to recuse themselves, BPD. Same with Canton, right?
Yes.
Those are your words on January 29th, right? You knew that Kevin Albert was the primary source of the conflict, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that he, above everybody else, should be completely removed from any contact with the investigation or the investigators, right?
Correct.
Yet when you wanted to coordinate witnesses for interviews in this case, who'd you turn to?
I had texted Kevin Albert to see if he could secure a conference room for us to conduct interviews at the station.
Of course you
The
did.
same Kevin Albert to help coordinate these witness interviews, who's the brother of Brian Albert, right?
Yes.
If you could turn to tab 13, please.
Every tab is a new horror show, man. What is on
For the
tab
court's
13?
clarification, it should be III.
All right, thank you.
What's on tab 13?
Thank you.
Why is there so many tabs so
Do you have that
stupid?
in front of you? Kevin Albert texts you on your personal cell phone. Paul G is reviewing the reports now. Steve Seraph is here if you need to interview him. And we can call Stephen Mullaney in as well, end quote. You see that?
Yes.
Who's Paul G?
Lieutenant Paul Gallagher.
So Kevin Albert, a Canton PD officer, and an Albert is texting you about Paul Gallagher, another Canton officer, about interviewing Steve Seraph, another Canton officer, and Steve Mullaney, a second Canton officer, correct?
Correct.
Then you asked Kevin Albert to actually contact the witnesses in order to schedule their interviews, didn't you?
Yeah, I believe it was Officer Mullaney and Seraph.
Go to page 2592.
This is surreal. This is surreal.
Kevin Albert then says, okay, sounds good. And then he responds, if you want to interview witnesses in the recorded room here, you're more than welcome. You see that?
I do.
That would mean that if you used a recorded room, those recordings would be in the hands of which agency?
That's why we did not use that recorded room.
Yep.
But he offered, didn't he?
He offered. We did not use it.
Did you see that as a problem?
That he offered?
Yeah.
No, I don't, sir.
Were you concerned that Kevin Albert was offering to utilize Canton's recording programs facility in order to get access to what the witnesses were saying so that he could then forward that or tell his brother?
No,
Never crossed your mind.
never.
Trooper Proctor, after you knew that Canton Police Department was conflicted off the case, you continued to have a very close relationship with yet another Albert, Kevin Albert, correct?
We worked on a cold case together.
So you did have a close personal and professional relationship with Kevin Albert, didn't you?
I'd say it was a professional relationship.
Only a professional relationship?
Him and I were members at a gym together, and we worked a cold case together for several months.
That sounds like you might know each other a little bit.
Once in a while, yeah, acquaintances.
Drinking acquaintances, right?
On several occasions.
Of course,
yes.
you went out drinking together, drinking buddies.
On several occasions.
So when you told the jury a few minutes ago,
I don't consider that a relationship. It's
well, let's look at that.
I don't consider that a relationship. I work with the guy. We know each other in a professional capacity. We go to the gym together. We drink together. I don't consider that a relationship. I don't know the guy. I don't know any of the Alberts. Don't know any of them. All right. Sure. Okay, fine. All right. Yep. Okay. I'm going to choose to accept this new exciting reality and press on.
The fact of the matter, does that refresh your recollection that on July 19th, 2022, you and Kevin Albert have been out drinking together?
Help me. Help me. Please, someone help me. This is not good for my mental health at this point. Holy God.
It does.
In fact, the two of you got so drunk that Kevin Albert left his badge in your cruiser and couldn't find his gun the next morning, right?
Great.
I can't speak to any level of intoxication, but I don't recall either of us being intoxicated.
Got it. So isn't it true that on 7/20, July 20th, 2022, the day after, at 8:39 in the morning, you texted Kevin Albert, quote, "Found your badge in my cruiser this morning," end quote, correct?
Yes.
Then you texted him, "I can leave it in my locker at the gym, drop it off at your station, or leave it in my mailbox," correct?
Correct.
Kevin Albert responds, "My mailbox. Did I take my gun?" And then included a wince face emoji, correct?
Correct.
So the fact of the matter is, you two got so drunk that he couldn't find his badge and had to ask you the next morning where his gun was, right?
Again, I can't speak to any level of intoxication, whether he just forgot it. I don't know.
I'm not asking you about his BAC, Trooper Proctor.
I'm not sure that necessarily helps a lot. Okay. I mean, I'm not, honest to God. I mean, okay. So alternative one is he's so drunk he doesn't remember where he put his gun. Alternative two, he's generally just not able to remember where he put his gun, drunk or sober. I'll let you decide which of these twin universes is the more horrible universe, because either way, it's not exactly great news.
From what I remember, we were down the Cape working on the cold case together and stopped for dinner, had a few beers, and then dropped him off.
What?
Kevin Albert responded, "It's bad, exclamation point, exclamation point. I was hungover for sure today, exclamation point, exclamation point. Couple tonight."
Oh my God. I was hungover for sure. My badge is in the car. Do you happen to know where my gun is? I'm hungover for sure. Someone please help me. Help me from the stupid.
Does that refresh your recollection? The two of you have been out drinking the night before. He got so drunk that he couldn't find his badge and couldn't even find his gun.
Yes, it does refresh my memory.
Right.
Yep.
And you're in your cruiser.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And this is with Brian Albert's brother, Super Proctor.
Correct.
Is it too late to charge Proctor with DUI?